Hello and welcome to another video here on DAX Wednesdays. In today's video, we're going to have a look at a DAX function called total quarter to date or total QTD. This DAX function belongs to the time intelligence family of DAX functions. Let's switch to Power BI for the demonstration. Over here, we have a data set with a table called orders in it. It has 5 columns. The first column segment, we have a sales column, which is nothing but quantity multiplied by price per unit, which are the second and third column. And finally, we have the order date column with dates in it with a range between January 2012 and December 2015. So we're talking about a 4-year date range. Now, if you're following along, just remember that this order date column should be of the following format: month, year. Now, report view, we have this table visualization in which we have the two columns, order date and sales. We have made sure that the order date is following the order date principle itself rather than the date hierarchy. Now, before we create this DAX measure total quarter to date, I just want to explain to you what is the principle behind total quarter to date or total QTD. I had made a similar video about total year to date. You can check that video by clicking on the link on the top right over here. So similar to total year to date, total quarter to date is something which gives back the running total. In case of the quarter, the running total stops at the end of the third month. So for instance, if month 1 we have sales of 15, month 2 sales of 12, month 3 sales of 18. So the running total for the third month is 15 plus 12 plus 18, which is 45. For the fourth month, however, it will reset itself to the value of sales that is in the fourth month. And it will do something similar for the running total in this quarter for the months between 4 and 6. It's pretty straightforward. Let's move back to Power BI for the demonstration. So over here, we're going to add a new measure by clicking on this icon. Call it total QTD, this total quarter to date is equal to type total QTD again. This time it is the DAX function itself. So unlike a total year to date, total quarter to date takes in 3 arguments. If you remember, total year to date had 4 arguments. In case of total quarter to date, we have 2 arguments which need to be specified, whereas the third one can be left out, or we can say it is optional. Similar to year to date, we need to put in an expression for the first argument. So it can be, let's say, sum, average, or max, etc. In case of our example, we're going to take sum. We'll open this bracket. Now it's asking for the column name for the sum function. So we'll choose order sales, close the bracket. Now when I put in the comma, we are moving into the second argument, which is dates. So we just need to specify the date column, type in orders date, and close this bracket. Now let's see what happens when we run this function. You'll see total quarter to date has been added to our data model. I'll click on this visualization and add this new measure to our table visualization. Now you'll see for January 2012, it has provided us the same value of sales. For February, it has made an addition of January and February, which is 98 plus 103, which gives this total of 202. And for March, it has given us 338,000, which is nothing but the addition of these first three months. For the fourth month, for April 2012, it has reset itself to the value of sales in April, and so on. So we have the total year to date for the third column, whereas the total quarter to date as the fourth. Now see the difference between these two columns. The first three values are essentially the same for the first 3 months, but the total year to date running total keeps on going till the end of 12 months, which is December 2012, and then it resets itself to the new value from January 2013. Whereas for total quarter to date, it resets itself after every 3 months. So you'll see the third month value is the highest among first and second. The sixth value is higher among fourth, fifth, and sixth, and so on. Now let's look at what is the third optional argument. The third optional argument that we can put in is a filter. Just as in the case of total year to date, we saw we can put in a filter. We'll do something similar. We'll put in a filter for segment, the orders segment column. We'll type in, for instance, consumer, and I'll say OK. Now you'll see the values have been updated as per the filter that we have provided. So you'll see sales of 98,000 in January 2012, out of which 56,000 are from the consumer segment. Then it has added the sales of the consumer segment for February and the sales of the consumer segment for March. And then it has reset itself again. Unlike total year to date, we don't have a fourth argument that we can use in total quarter to date. If you remember, for total year to date, we can change the end date. For instance, even if we don't want January 1st or 31st December as the starting point of our calculation, we can change it to, for instance, end of June, which is possible in total year to date. But in total quarter to date, we can only have the same set of months as illustrated in this slide. You can only have January to March, April to June, July to September, and October to December as the range, and we can't change it, for instance, to February to April, May to July. So we are going to just follow the classic set of months which define a quarter in a year. So we only have an option to stick with the same set of months for the quarter. And finally, I'm going to share with you this slide in which I have ranked my preferred time intelligence DAX functions among the few that we have seen so far here on Powerdojo. So for me, total quarter to date is the fifth, is on rank 5 among all the time intelligence DAX functions that we have seen so far. Date add remains my preferred time intelligence DAX functions. There's so much we can do with date add. As for total quarter to date, we have a restriction of using the same quarters, and we are restricted to use a running total for only 3 months. That's why I have ranked it at number 5. So that's all for this video. Let me know in the comments of what you thought about it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next video.